Hey guys, what's up? And today we're going to do the best and worst books that I read each month. I got this idea from Haley and Bookland, and I thought it was a great idea just because I did read a lot of great books, and they all didn't make it on my best books of 2020 list. So I wanted to give those books a little mention. I may do a video where I do honorable mentions for 2020, but I thought this was a great way to share with you what I read each month and my best and worst books from that month. So I am going to do all the months except for December because I'm currently filming this in December, obviously. And I've read only one book thus far this month, so we're doing great. So let's start off with January. In January, I had a huge month of reading. I was having a tough time, so I just said, let me just read. So in January, I read Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie, Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli, Sex Criminals Volume 1 by Matt Fraction, The Trouble with Half a Moon, She Persisted Around the World, Amid Thirsty Vines, Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, The Prince and the Dressmaker, Ghost, Poison Apples, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Pumpkinheads, Snow White, Party Games by R.L. Stine, Heartstopper Volume 1 and Volume 2. I don't know all these authors, I only wrote down a few. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to have to go with the book that I put as one of my best books of 2020, which is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. That is a 5-star book for me, and it was the first one I read, which was fantastic. But close ones have to be The Prince and the Dressmaker, Ghost, Long Way Down. Long Way Down did make it on my best books, actually. So, I think I'm gonna do Long Way Down because I really, really love that book. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna do Long Way Down for my best book of this month. And my worst one, I had quite a bit of 2 stars actually. I think I'm gonna have to go with Heartstopper. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with Snow White. It is the graphic novel. I will put up the picture of it because I don't know who the author is. Okay, but my best book of January is going to be Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. Go check out my best books of 2020 to see how much I loved it. And then I am going to do for my worst book, Snow White. I'm not sure who it's by, but it's the graphic novel version. It was Snow White in the 1920s. And yikes. So now time for February. I had a lot less books that I read in February than I did in January. So in February I read Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien by Johnny Sun, Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay, Dear Martin by Nick Stone, Heartstopper Volume 3, and then Long Bright River. I think that's by Liz Moore. And okay, this one's actually quite an easy one. My best book of February is definitely going to be Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay because that is also on my best books of 2020. That's a memoir and it's fantastic. Highly recommend the audiobook. And then my least favorite, okay. The worst one I have to say is Heartstopper Volume 3 by Alice Oseman. This one just did not do it for me. I was not a huge fan at all. So yeah, those are my best and worst for February. I read quite a bit in March. I read To Drink Coffee with a Ghost by Amanda Lovelace, Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson, Break Your Glass Slippers by Amanda Lovelace, Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, Maybe Not by Colleen Hoover, Under the Influence by Jacqueline Lee, That's Not What Happened by Cody Keplinger, and Keep This to Yourself by Kieran McGadden. Okay, so I have two best books on here that's on my best books list. Monday's Not Coming and Ugly Love. I am going to have to go with Monday's Not Coming because that book has impacted me so much. I do love Ugly Love, but I really think Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson has to be my favorite this month of March. And, okay, I read a lot of bad books this month as well. Break Your Glass Slippers by Amanda Lovelace was not great. Maybe Not by Colleen Hoover was also not great. Keep This to Yourself by Kieran McAdam. I think that's a poetry collection, if I remember correctly. I gave that 1 star, so I'm going to make that my worst because I really did not enjoy it. I don't know what happened in it, and I'm not actually sure what it's about. But I'm going to do Keep This to Yourself by Kieran McAdam as my worst book of March. Now on to April. Okay, I read a good amount of April. Okay. I also have a lot of best books on here on this wrap up as well. So for April, I read Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, The Childfinder by Renee Denfield, Into the Water by Paula Hawkins, Still Alice by Lisa Genova, Out of My Mind by Sharon M. Dreyer, Divergent by Veronica Roth, and The Dream by Jean Defoe. Okay. So I'm automatically taking Divergent out because that was a reread, and I don't consider, if I've already read it, then I'm not going to consider it best book. It is one of my favorite books of all time, but since it was a reread, I'm not going to count that. I have 2 best books of 2020 on this wrap-up. The Childfinder by Renee Denfield and Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. I think I'm going to have to go with Into the Water by Paula Hawkins for my favorite for April, just because it's so good, and I think about it often. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Into the Water. And then for my worst, I have 2, because 2 of these books are on my worst books of 2020 as well. Still Alice by Lisa Genova and Dream by Jean Defoe. I think I'm going to go with The Dream, just because I rated it lower than I did Still Alice, even though I really despise Still Alice. So my best book of April is going to be Into the Water by Paula Hawkins, and my worst book is going to be The Dream by Jean Defoe. That one's a graphic novel. I can't tell you anything about it. I was very confused then. I'm very confused about it now. Now on to May's wrap-up. I did read quite a few rereads, so I'm not going to count those, obviously, because I obviously reread books that I really love. So the first book I read was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. That was a reread. Happiness Will Follow by Mike Hawthorne. Insurgent by Veronica Roth, also reread. When Breath Becomes Air, I didn't write down who this was, who this was by. Meant to Avoid in Life and Art by Nicole Tersigny. The Grace Year by Kim Leggett. I Left the House Today by Cassandra Callan. Those are the 7 books I read. So, my best book by far is going to have to be The Grace Year by Kim Leggett. I gave that book 5 stars. I really, really love it. It's a Lord of the Flies type situation with a hint of Handmaid's Tale, even though I didn't like Handmaid's Tale, but I do like the concept of Handmaid's Tale. So, yeah, my best book of May will have to be The Grace Year by Kim Leggett. The worst? Oh god, okay. I didn't really have any bad books this month. I'm gonna have to say my worst book, even though this is not a bad book by any means, is I Left the House Today by Cassandra Callan, just because I don't remember too much about it. I believe it's a graphic novel. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a graphic novel, and I know that it made me laugh, but I just don't remember much about it, so that's why it's gonna be my worst book of May. But I remember it being a great book. I gave it 3 stars, so, which is pretty average for my graphic novel reads. I also read quite a bit in June. I think depression hit at that time, so we'll see. Okay. Okay, this was actually a really good reading month for the most part. There were some really bad ones. So the books I read were 12 by Andrea Blythe, Heartstopper Volume 4 by Oseman, Becoming by Renata Williams, You Were Never Broken by Jeff Foster, Allegiant by Veronica Roth, which was a reread, The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate, I believe that's her name, An American Marriage by Tayari Jones, The Most Dangerous Place on Earth by Lindsay Lee Johnson, Grumpy Monkey by Suzanne Lang, If You Come Softly by Jacqueline Woodson, Monster by Walter Dean Myers, Ghost Boys by Joel Parker Rhodes. Sorry, I have it right there. Behind You by Jacqueline Woodson, The Wicker King. I don't know who wrote that. So, this month I had a lot of books that were on my worst books of 2020, and then I also had quite a few books that are on my best books of 2020. So, I actually only have one that was on my best books, but there are some really great books that I read. 12 by Andrea Blythe is definitely one of my favorites that I read, even though it wasn't on my best books of 2020. I really, really, really love that book, and I just need to buy it, because I just want to reread it. It's very short, and it's about the 12 Dancing Princesses. So that one's definitely an honorable mention, but I am going to have to go with If You Come Softly by Jacqueline Woodson. This is definitely my all-time favorite of this year, and I will be reading it every year. It's very short. It's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and it's just so good. I really, really love it. So that one has to be my best for June. My worst. So I have You Were Never Broken by Jeff Foster. I have An American Marriage, and The Most Dangerous Place on Earth by Lindsay Lee Johnson. So You Were Never Broken was the lowest rated out of the three of those. But it is also a poetry collection, and I don't usually rate them too high. I'm going to have to go with The Most Dangerous Place on Earth by Lindsay Lee Johnson. This book confused the hell out of me. It was a lot packed into a 200-page book. Now let's do my July wrap-up. So let's see. I read quite a few books in July. July was a readathon, so I didn't have good luck. Whenever I read for a readathon, I usually pick books that I don't end up liking. So, these are the books that I read in July. I read The She-Book Volume 2 by Tanya Markle. Invisible Differences by Julia Dachez. This Is My America by Kim Johnson. Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. Soon Volume 1 by Thomas Cadine. Squall by Chad Norman. Scenery by Jose Felipe A. Somebody Give This Heart a Pin by Sophia Thacker, and The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie. So, I do have one of these books is on my worst books of 2020, and it's Squall by Chad Norman. Okay. So, my favorites for this month have to be between This Is My America by Kim Johnson and Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. But I think I'm going to go with Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. This book is so good. The cover's gorgeous, first off. And second, it's so good. I really love the characters, all of them. And I really think it's an interesting story. So I'm going to go with Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson for the best book of July. And obviously my worst book is going to be Squall by Chad Norman. This one's about Mary Shelley. Written by a man, so it doesn't really work. Now on to August wrap-up. I read actually quite a few books this month as well. These are the books I read in August. A Quick and Easy Guide to Consent by Isabella Rotman. Anti-Racist Baby by Ibram X. Kendi. Alma and How She Got Her Name by Juana Martinez-Neal. Inky the Octopus by Erin Delsberger. Oh god, I totally butchered that. Hair Love by Matthew A. Cherry. Solely by Lupita Nyong'o. Wonderstruck by Brian Selznick. Towers Falling by Joel Rhodes Parker. Harbor Me by Jacqueline Woodson. And then Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. So I read kind of a few children's books because I was doing, I don't know what I was doing. Did I do a video? I might have done a video. I don't know. I read a lot of children's books. I'm not too sure why. So I read Wonderstruck by Brian Selznick is on my worst books of 2020. But I also read Inky the Hot Octopus, which was terrible. I know it's like a children's book, but it was bad. It was really bad. Okay. Solway was really good. I really loved that one, and so was Hair Love. I really loved Towers Falling and Harbor Me, and Allegedly. So I read really good books, okay? I think the two it's between is Harbor Me and Allegedly. And although I gave Allegedly 5 stars, I think I am going to go with Harbor Me by Jacqueline Woodson, which I gave 4 stars. But that book has just really stuck with me, and I may up the rating. I'm going to go with Harbor Me by Jacqueline Woodson for the best book that I read in August. And for the worst, I'm going to go with Wonderstruck by Brian Selznick. Even though Inky the Octopus was terrible, Brian Selznick had a whole lot more pages to convince me that it was a good book. Now on to September, I read I Hadn't Meant to Tell You This by Jacqueline Woodson, Life in the Sloth Lane. I don't know who that's by. It's just about sloths. Final Girls by Riley Sager, The Times I Knew I Was Gay by Eleanor Cruz, September Love by Lang Leave, The Places We Sleep by Carolyn Brooks Du Bois, The Dollhouse Family by M.R. Carey, Where the Wild Things Are by Mance Sindak, and then The Nightmare Before Christmas by Jean Osaka. That was the manga. So probably the best ones out of these have to be I Hadn't Meant to Tell You This by Jacqueline Woodson, Final Girls by Riley Sager, The Places We Sleep by Carolyn Brooks Du Bois. I think those are the 3 that are in competition. I think I'm gonna have to go with Final Girls by Riley Sager. I really did enjoy this book. Even though it took me so long to read it, it just gave me a lot of anxiety. So that's why I stopped reading it. But I really did enjoy this book, and I love it so much. I want to read more Riley Sager, but I'm hesitant because I don't want to ruin the image they have of Riley Sager. Worst book? Okay, the worst book is also my worst book of 2020. It is September Love by Lang Leave. Lang Leave and I have a tumultuous relationship. I usually don't like her work. I continue reading it. It's toxic. I need to stop reading her work because I just don't like it. So yeah, September Love is going to be the worst book that I read in September, and Final Girls is the best book that I read in September. So in October, I read a lot of good books. So I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I read 10 by Gretchen McNeil, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell, I'm Enough by Grace Byers, Black Flamingo by Dean Atta, and then Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. Okay. I read too many good books. Okay, I don't know what I Am Enough by Grace Byers is. Oh wait, yes I do. I do know it. Okay, that is also a children's book. The worst book that I read in October is going to be I Am Enough by Grace Byers. Now it's time to figure out what is the best one of this month. Oh god. So I'm not going to say 10 is, even though I really enjoyed that book. It is a retelling of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I really enjoyed it. It was cliche, but sometimes you just gotta love a cliche moment. So it's between My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell and Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. Grown is one of my best books of 2020, but I'm kind of leaning towards My Dark Vanessa, which I don't understand why. I hate that I read these books in the same month because they were both so good and they had similar themes. Okay, I'm just gonna do Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson because it is one of my best books of 2020, and Tiffany D. Jackson is literally perfection. So my best book of October is going to be Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. My worst book is going to be I Am Enough by Grace Byers, just because I read a lot of good books. And finally, in November, I did not read I did not read a lot of books in November. 2 of them are rereads, so that cuts it down to 3 books that I have to choose from. So in November I reread We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. I reread Dear My Blank. I read Next by Michael Crichton, Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson, and then I also read a children's book, Barack Obama, Son of Promise, Child of Hope. So, this one's a very easy choice for me. My best book of November is Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. And the worst book that I read in November definitely is Next by Michael Crichton. This book I had so many issues with. It was not for me. I read the whole thing, all like 400 something pages of it, and I don't deeply regret it, but I do regret it. But Brown Girl Dreaming was a refreshing thing after I read Next. It's the memoir of Jacqueline Woodson, and it's written very, very well. Those are all my best and worst books that I read each month this year. Obviously, as I said, I'm not doing December because December's not over with, and I've only read one book this month. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video, and comment down below if you've read any of these books and have any opinions on them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.